Hey, friends. I'm the Mikester, your humble servant, and this is our weekly update from FUMC. Every first Sunday of the month, after the 11 o'clock worship service in the sanctuary, is a tour of our church, led by one of our trained, fabulous docents. This Sunday is one of those tours. Come see this beautiful facility. Learn about the groundbreaking on the day of the stock market crash in 1929. It really is both fun and you will learn so much. Join us this Sunday for that. And speaking of this Sunday, speaking of tours and an open house, remember that this Sunday is the open house for the First Street Mission. From 8 in the morning until 1 p.m., head down to First Street and see an amazing operation of mission, compassion, and outreach. Please put that into your schedule. Let's talk about diapers for a moment, because truly they are among the world's greatest inventions. We use diapers in so many different ways, and they are used during the month of February by the First Street Mission. It's our focus this month, so we encourage you to have fun bringing diapers with you to worship on Sunday, to the church during the week, and know that they will go to great use through families all across our neighborhood and all across our city. And now that we've introduced diapers to the congregation, here's another reminder. Our baby celebration is going to be this Sunday. No, it's not going to be this Sunday. I was just trying to trick you. It's going to be a week from Sunday, February 11th. It happens in our 11 o'clock worship service. There will be countless babies, countless diapers, and countless parents in our sanctuary. And it is a chance for us to honor them and to let them know that they are so important in our church community. We hope that you'll come and support them in that service. And then just a few days after the baby celebration, on Wednesday, February 14th, is the beginning of Lent with Ash Wednesday. Here's a timeline reminder. We have worship at noon. At 5:30, we have a meal for young parents and their children. At 6:15, Mr. Mark meets with those young families to talk about what Ash Wednesday really means, and then we worship again in the sanctuary at 7 o'clock on that day. Now I need to know, who's responsible? Who is responsible for the fact that this year Ash Wednesday and Valentine's Day are the same day on February 14th, and Easter and April Fool's Day are the same day again? Who is responsible? Well, it could be Pope Gregory. He was just trying to be helpful back in 1582 when he put together his lunar calendar. And listen to this. Pope Gregory decided that Easter should be on the Sunday that follows the full moon closest to the spring equinox. Please, God, help us all. Well, there is help. Help can come from our senior pastor, Dr. Tim Brewster, who will explain to us now the theme for Lent this year.
You know, in all the noise that surrounds us in our day-to-day life, there's a lot to listen to. How do we know what to listen for? How do we know it when we hear it? I'm Tim Brewster, Senior Pastor at First United Methodist Church of Fort Worth, and I want to invite you to join us for Lent this year as we spend the 6 weeks leading up to Easter exploring together how to listen for grace. We sing about grace, amazing grace, how sweet the sound. How do we listen for that sweet whisper of grace in all the noise that surrounds us? How do we recognize grace in our day-to-day lives? One of my favorite stories about this comes from the early days of telegraphic communication. A young man is applying for a job as a Morse code telegraph operator by going to the address listed in the ad. He walks into this large, noisy office where a telegraph is clacking away continuously in the background. A sign on the receptionist's counter instructs applicants to fill out a form and wait until they're summoned back to the inner office. So this young man completes his form and sits down with 7 other applicants. After a few minutes, the young man stands up and walks across the room and straight through the door into the inner office. "What's going on? Who does he think he is?" the others mutter. They, of course, assume that he'll be disqualified since he went through the door uninvited. Within a few minutes, the young man emerges from the inner office, escorted by the interviewer. "Gentlemen," the interviewer says, "thank you very much for coming. The job has been filled by this young man." "Well, wait a minute," says one of the other applicants. "I don't understand. He was the last one to come in. We never even got a chance to be interviewed. And he got the job? That's not fair." The interviewer replied, "Well, the whole time you've been sitting here, the telegraph has been clicking out the following message in Morse code. If you understand this message, then come right in. The job is yours." Because this young man knew what he was listening for and his ear was attuned to hear it, even with all the noise going on, he got the job. I think listening for grace is something like that. God's presence in our lives is continuous, no matter what's going on or what other noise or distraction surrounds us. And when we learn how to listen for grace, we can experience God's continuous, loving presence, even in the most unexpected or difficult circumstances. Grace is presence. Grace is reconciliation. It can be limitation. Sometimes it can be disturbing even, and yet God's grace is always enough. And no matter how or where we experience it, God's grace is transformative. In our traditional worship service this Lenten season, beginning this with Ash Wednesday on February 14th in the sanctuary, we will learn how to listen for grace in all the noise that surrounds us. I hope to see you there.
Thank you, Tim. We invite all of you to take part in the entire Lenten season this year, from beginning to end, because as you know, with a great movie, with a great book, you just can't come in at the end. You need to experience the entire journey, the entire saga. So we invite you to be with us this Lenten season to take part in all that we do here at First United Methodist Church. And if all this tends to give you a little bit of high blood pressure, well, then I've got just the thing for you. Every Sunday morning, 10:30, room 154, come and have your blood pressure checked. And so, friends, that's all for now. And yes, this has been your moment with Mike.